Alright, good day, fight fans. We're here with the President and CEO of SNAC, Mr. Victor Conte. How you doing, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
How are you today?
good, fine. Thank you for asking. Can you talk to us about this new company and new innovation that you're doing now for elite sports athletes?
Well, many probably know my background was the founder of the infamous BALCO Laboratories, which was founded in 1984, and I operated the clinical laboratory until September of 2003. That's when BALCO was rated, and thereafter I served a 4-month period of time in a minimum security prison camp, and ever since I was released in April of 2006, I've been operating the company SNAC. The acronym stands for Scientific Nutrition for Advanced Conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a complete line of sports nutrition products.
Awesome! Wow. I mean, that's some high-tech stuff. So all of these methodologies. I mean, I know you're trying to clean up your reputation from that whole BALCO incident. But yeah, I mean, boxing fans are pretty much neophytes and clueless about PEDs and HGH compared to other fans of different sports like baseball and football. So can you explain to us the difference between what you're doing and the HGH stuff?
Well, first of all, these substances like HGH and testosterone and other steroids, and there are many types of performance-enhancing drugs, and the distribution and use of these, first of all, is illegal, and they're also banned or prohibited substances. So what we're doing is completely legal, and none of the nutrients are on any sort of banned list. So what I'm now doing is illegal, and you have to understand that when I started BALCO in 1984, until 2000, for a period of 16 years, the difference in what we're doing now is that everything is legal, and we're not using any sort of prohibited substances. And I had a long history. I founded BALCO in 1984, and it wasn't until the year 2000 or 16 years later that I made this decision to join the drug culture in sport and took that trip down the slippery slope. So in the initial 16 years of BALCO's history, I worked with all sorts of world-class athletes, Super Bowl champion teams, back-to-back seasons in 97 and 98 with the Denver Broncos professional football team, world-class swimmers like Matt Biondi, world-class runners like Alberto Salazar, who's the world record holder in the marathon back in the early 80s. So I just realized that many athletes at the elite level were using performance-enhancing substances, and I made a bad decision to join that culture. Of course, now, as they say, you do the crime and do the time, and so I did spend a period of 4 months in a prison camp, and I caused a great deal of harm to my family and all of the athletes that I was associated with that type of activity. I certainly wouldn't recommend that anyone do that. And there are, a lot of high-tech methodologies and training techniques that can be used that can really provide performance enhancement. So my focus ever since I was released from the prison camp in April of 2006, so it's now been 4 years, I've been continuing to help high-profile athletes, but using entirely legal methods.
Awesome. And if you don't mind, can I ask you a few questions about HGH further? Because there's this whole Manny Pacquiao-Floyd-Mayweather super fight that's pretty much hanging by the thread because of some blood testing issues that both fighters couldn't agree on.
Well, let me give you the global overview regarding that. What boxing really needs is to have an anti-doping agency set up for boxing, because boxing is different than Olympic caliber sports in that you have individual fights, and my prescription or recommendation would be that once you become a ranked fighter in the top 10, that you should be subjected to 24/7, 365 testing.
Oh.
Because let's just take this recent fight between Floyd Mayweather and Shane Mosley, and that they signed up for this USADA testing.
Yeah.
But they actually started 5 weeks out. And now, recently, it's come out that they didn't even test them for 18, 19 days before the fight. They initially did some blood testing and some urine testing, and then it was supposed to be random, and of course, the athletes always had the threat that they could be tested at any time, and this can serve as a deterrent. But here's the point I'd like to make. There is no drug testing now that is foolproof. And as an example, with the Olympic athletes, let's just say, the time frame of Beijing in 2008, which was in August of 2008. When the athletes that made the decision to use performance-enhancing drugs used them, specifically anabolic steroids and growth hormone, was back in the October, November, December time frame the year before, 2007. This is when they use steroids in conjunction with a intense weight training, and they build the explosive strength and speed base that serves them months and months later throughout the competitive season and at the Olympic Games. So back to this Mosley-Mayweather fight, either one of these guys could have been using anabolic steroids for months and months up until the time, whatever the date was. I believe the first testing they did was March the 22nd before the fight on May 1st. You need, the way steroids work is through a process called cell volumization. And they make you pumped up, and more nutrients and more fluid gets inside the cells. Well, this also makes you tight, and you will lack flexibility and speed while you're on these. So you develop this strength base, but you have to taper at least 2 weeks before your body comes back to a normal fluid balance, and you can utilize that strength and power and speed. So all I'm trying to say is, yes, for a short period of time, about a 3-week time frame, they were subjected to testing, or actually it was only about a 2-week time frame. In the final 18, 19 days, there was no testing. Now, I'm giving you ways that they could circumvent the testing so that you understand that their USADA, as an example, is really not capable of certifying that these athletes are clean, because there are things that you can do. You can use testosterone, either orals or gels, and use low dosages. And unless they do some very sophisticated and expensive type of testing called CIR, carbon isotope ratio testing, if they just do the normal TE ratio testing, testosterone, epitestosterone testing, you can stay below that 4-to-1 ratio that's allowed. Typically, your ratio in urine is 1 part testosterone, 1 part epitestosterone. One athlete could conceivably use low doses and take it up to 3.9-to-1 and still not test positive. Secondly, they could use EPO for a period of time, and then they could extract their red blood cells and save them in the refrigerator, and go into the testing and say the normal hematocrit would be, as an example, Shane Mosley back in 2003 before the De La Hoya fight, he was at 44% was his hematocrit. Well, later, 2 weeks after he used EPO, it went up to 52. They don't want you to have a level above 50, the doping agencies like USADA, because they consider this to be a health concern. But conceivably, an athlete could take it up from 44 to 49, show up on this date of March 22nd, do a blood test, and then over time, without using EPO, they just reinfuse red blood cells back into their system, so they keep their level at 49 from 5 weeks out until the fight night. Well, they can't detect when you reinfuse your own blood.
Wow.
So is it possible to use testosterone? Is it possible to use EPO during the testing? Yes, it is. So it serves as a deterrent, but you've got to understand that the testing is not foolproof, and you can circumvent and test negative when you are, in fact, using performance-enhancing drugs. So this is where people have to understand that it does serve as a deterrent, You know, you do have to duck and dodge. You have to use more sophisticated techniques.
Mm-hmm.